Hi, I'm Rocky Stefano. I'm the CEO of Identita Technologies. Identity is a central thread that will enable security, control, manageability, and accountability in a fully distributed network.
State-of-the-art technologies, innovative business strategies, behind the scenes, insights from cutting-edge users around the globe on World Business Review.
Welcome to World Business Review. I'm Norman Schwarzkopf. In this new world marketplace, the increased reliance on technology has made it much easier to commit identity fraud. Here with us today is Rocky Stefano, CEO and Chief Technical Officer of Identita Technologies. Welcome, Rocky.
Thank you, General. It's a pleasure to be here.
Also joining us today is our in-house correspondent, Jordan Goodman. Welcome, Jordan.
Nice to be with you, General.
Jordan, security issues and identity theft are in the news just about every day now. What can we do to protect ourselves?
We start by being paranoid because there's a lot of people trying to get your identity, and when they do get it, it makes a huge difference. It can really cost you a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of inconvenience. It can hurt your credit record in all kinds of ways. It is a major problem growing all the time, and a lot of people don't realize how vulnerable they are.
What role is your company playing in this challenging environment?
Well, General, Identita over the years has created some very unique technology. We've been able to miniaturize secure components to fit into very small credit card-sized form factor devices.
Rocky, managing identities and their access to resources throughout a business enterprises can be a real challenge. How does implementing Identita's solution help?
Jordan, what we've done is we've created a two-factor identity management solution which allows all the various IT resources in a company to distinguish, evaluate, and categorize how, where, when they want to control those resources, who has access to them, and how they designate various levels of threat level among those different roles. So we can very easily allow an IT administrator to designate whether or not someone has access inside a company, outside a company, from their home or from their office or from another country.
I'd actually like you to show us these cards and show us how the technology works.
Sure. We have various models. Some of them range from regular two-factor tokens, which are display-based. Some are based on acoustics, so we actually transmit an audible signal, and some of them are also based on biometrics as well.
That means like a fingerprint on that, so show us how the fingerprint one would work.
Exactly. So there is actually a sensor small enough to fit inside of a credit card, and we put our finger on here, and it activates the circuitry to scan your finger, match it with a number on the card, and then it actually will either generate a sound or generate a display number that will allow you to complete a transaction.
And then show us on the one that creates the sound how that one works.
On the one that creates a sound, this can either be biometric or two-factor based. We can actually squeeze it, simple as squeezing a button, and it emits an audible signature. For the other model, we have a product where, again, you simply squeeze the button and it displays 8 numbers, which is a transaction number, and allows that transaction to occur for only 30 seconds. Once that 30 seconds has expired, we issue a new set of 8 numbers that somebody can use for the next transaction.
So how is this more secure than having a traditional card with the numbers on there and you get a PIN code?
Well, what happens is, even though some of these products are still PIN-based, the difference is that in a traditional transaction, your Visa number or your ATM card number is always the same. It's a static number, and it never changes. Whereas with our products, these numbers, commonly referred to as OTP devices, OTP or one-time pass changes after every use. So because the codes change after every use, it's very, very difficult for an attacker to try and reuse the previous token.
Now, typical IT environments have several local administrators. How did your solution impact an organization's resources?
Typically today, in an organization, let's take the example of someone being hired. There are different things that have to happen in an organization, such as giving them an ID badge, giving them an email account, giving them resources on the network that they would have to use. But what we do is we allow all of those disparate sources to be combined into a single administration console in our EchoSystem platform. So this allows a single person, such as an HR manager, to dispense the card to the individual and have all of the other items taken care of for her or him.
Rocky, really, how big a problem is this?
Well, generally, the statistics vary from industry to industry, but typically the best way is by example. Last quarter, 2006, E-Trade, which is the nation's fourth largest online brokerage, announced that they had lost approximately $18 million due to online financial hacking of customer accounts.
Holy smokes.
Now, if you figure that E-Trade was nice enough to actually give back that $18 million to their customers, they really lost $36 million. Now, for a fraction of that, around 10% of their overall loss, we could have given all 4 million customers one of our products.
How is your PIN compromised and your identity stolen?
Well, in the context of traditional PIN theft, which could be from your ATM card, your badge at work, or any other sort of context of using a PIN, there are many ways of doing it. There's social hacking, where people can actually do something called shoulder surfing, where they walk discreetly behind you and watch you type it in. There are, with the advancement in smaller electronics, they can put cameras into the tops of the ATM booths where they can actually film you entering your PIN. It's been done many, many times to the loss of millions of dollars every day, where law enforcement agencies on a daily basis actually have their own footage of the criminals actually setting up these cameras in banks and stealing people's PINs.
What types of fraud and security breaches are really causing most of the identity theft today?
It varies again, Jordan, but there is all type of identity theft from in the financial markets with credit cards, ATM cards. There is government ID theft with social security numbers, passports, driver's licenses. Just think about how much money you can make, which varies from one type of ID to the next. But when you're supplying people who don't have valid IDs or people that are looking for valid IDs, whether criminally intent or not, the bottom line is that there's a lot of money to be made in supplying fake IDs and stealing other people's identities.
There's a real reason to be paranoid out there, isn't there?
Definitely.
What can some of the authentication possibilities improve that you're offering improve in the security of other kinds of devices like PDAs or cell phones, other kinds of devices out there?
Well, up until now, it was very difficult to have a cross-platform identity solution. You would find it very difficult to find something that would secure your laptop, secure your PC, secure your phone, secure your house. But today that's changed with the work that we've done at Identita with miniaturizing components and allowing them to fit into a very small form factor, such as an access card. You can actually have all of these things protected and secured by one common platform.
How simple is it to set up and enroll the smart card, and how easy is it to use?
It's actually very, very simple. Typically, one of our smart cards might take anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds to enroll. However, if you have some of them that are based on biometrics, just because we have to scan your fingers a couple times in order to train the card on your actual fingerprint, it may take a couple minutes, but usually no longer than that.
How can a smart card that you're producing integrate all the different locations where you are, your home, your office, maybe you're on vacation? How can that one card be useful everywhere?
Well, that's in the power of our back-end platform called EchoSystem. With EchoSystem, what we've done is we actually have locational software in there, such as the same sort of software that runs on a GPS, and we can actually have policy-driven rules in our software that can allow a user to use their software at home, or use it at the office, or use it while on their vacation, or we can limit them from using it depending on the geographic location that they're operating their device from.
What's the future hold?
There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening in our industry. One of them is printed electronics. So today, when vendors such as ourselves use things like batteries or speakers or little displays in our cards, those are very expensive components, and it's what drives the cost up of trying to give a common security card to your everyday person. When printed electronics becomes a norm, which is likely in a couple of years or so, everybody with a bubble jet printer at home will be able to print their own battery. We'll be able to print a display. And when that happens, it will really drive down the cost of security so that everybody will be able to have it in their wallet.
Rocky, what are some of the future technologies coming out from Identita?
What we're looking at doing is combining digital rights management with home media appliance gateways so that we can enable safe transactions for music, movies, and anything else that you might want to buy at home, like popcorn.
Well, thanks for this very, very, very enlightening discussion we've had. Somewhat terrifying in some ways, but we really do appreciate you being here.
Thank you, General. It was a pleasure.
And Jordan, as always, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks very much. Glad to do it.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, for World Business Review, I'm Norman Schwarzkopf.